Welcome to Clixed Off, brought to you by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama. Check them out at LuckyDiceCafe.com. And now for your hosts, Daniel Powell, Jason Alvey, and Tylor Speeds.
Hey everybody, welcome to Clixed Off today. This is your host Daniel Powell speaking. Just want to let everyone know that Clixed Off is brought to you by TrollandToad.com, the world's largest Heroclix retailer. Find Heroclix new and old on Troll and Toad and use coupon code CLIXEDOFF for 5% off your Heroclix order. Merchant and pre-order items do not apply. If you like what you're listening to today on Clixed Off, consider supporting us on patreon.com/ClixedOff. $1 and above will get entered into our monthly giveaways, which are starting back up now that we're done with the Clixed Off Classic. $5 and above gets entered into our exclusive Discord server for Heroclix strategy and tactics discussion. And then with tiered benefits from there on up. Also, check out clixedoff.com for articles and previews that we have. That will be posted up there. Joining me today is Tylor. Is Animals Dead Spees?
No. I don't think so.
And also joining me is Alex, just by that much, Cruzz.
If we didn't know this was about Heroclix or anything, this would be a really weird introduction.
Our animal's dead.
Our animal's dead, and just by this much?
Oh, and then our special guest today is the 2021 Clixed Off Classic Champion, Patrick Frazer.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
So, Pat, I got to know, does winning the 2021 Clixed Off Classic feel better than winning the 2019 U.S. National Championship?
Oh, I think absolutely. It's probably the second most important tournament I've played in. Right behind the Chicago Clix Champion.
Of course, yeah.
Yes, which Tylor is holding the belt currently.
Currently, yes.
Right, absolutely. Great. Fantastic answer, regardless of whether or not it's right or wrong.
So, Dan, I don't want to intercede or step on any toes, but I think Pat needs to answer the most probably demanded question is, what kind of shampoo and conditioner do you use? Because I think that's everyone wants to know after seeing your winning picture.
Oh, it's avocado based.
Okay.
Yeah, it gives them the nutrients that food. Your hair craves.
Okay. Man, I was very shocked, but I've never seen you with your hair done like that. Jesus.
I've been hiding. I've just been sitting during COVID. I've just been aggressively.
You're waiting to win the Clixed Off Classic for the unveil.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was a good format for it.
Yeah.
You had Tylor at avocado, so
you can get it at Chipotle.
Yeah, he's gonna go to Chipotle, and I need a lot of avocados, please.
Tylor, do you typically get spring for the avocado at Chipotle?
I do not like it on the burrito, but I will get chips and avocado sometimes.
He likes it on his hair.
And on my hair now, apparently.
Yeah.
I'll show you the way.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm imagining Tylor with long hair and it's cracking me up.
I think it needs to happen.
Oh my god. Alright, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, so did you just not trim the hair at all during COVID, right? Because your hair is not normally
I shave the sides. I shave the sides, trim up the beard a little bit, but at the top, just let it go.
Yeah, interesting.
Hey, that's clearly a great choice.
Thank you.
Yeah, so...
Anyway.
Yeah, so today's episode is talking all about the Clixed Off Classic, how everything went, different things like that. We're going to talk about each little... all four of us on the show did play and had varying results, as you might guess, given that Pat was the winner. Can't all win, obviously.
Spoiler!
Spoiler alert. And then talk a little bit about the rest of the top 8 teams, and then we've got some questions from our... esteemed listeners. So, I think we'll talk a little bit about, Pat, I think we can just go ahead and start with you since you're the the winner there, and I guess we'll just kind of go best to worst. So I think that would be you, then Alex, then Tylor, then me. And so Pat, talk to us about your team. What's on it, and then kind of just like break down how you expect the team to function on a typical kind of first couple of turns.
Sure, yeah. So I used a piece called Sky Tyrant, not too big in the meta right now. Along with Sleeper. You guys should check out this style.
Sky.
That's SKY space TYRANT. Yeah, okay. It was on a monster theme with the Commissioner and Scarab. Then I had a green Proteus, 4 Wendigos, Storm Prime, the retail one, Mole Man, the one that gives them all free movement one, and a Moloid, basically just for the Empower.
I guess that's right. My 4 Wendigos are the cock champions.
Yeah. I borrowed 4 of your 20 Wendigos.
I think you said 19 actually.
No, I said I went. I said I went to 19, but I had to go back to 20 pretty quickly.
Okay. Do you actually have 20 Wendigos?
I legitimately own 20 Wendigos. That is not any sort of exaggeration.
I tried to buy some for them. They're not for sale. He needs to have plenty.
He's holding diamond hands on those Wendigos.
Yeah. So how does the team work and function, and kind of how you expect some things to go?
Well, also on it is the reality gem and the power gem. I guess kind of the play is to win map. You want to do that. If you lose map, you probably lose the game. You want to get the alpha.
You're plus 11, right?
Plus 11 monster theme, which usually gives me about plus 3. I was plus 2 against Tylor. Got it both times. But I like to get the power gem onto Sky Tyrant. And then ideally, if there's an object to blow up with Scarab, I do that to put them up 10-0. And then kind of make them come to you where you have a bunch of Wendigos and Sky Tyrants waiting for them.
And just to blow up an object, you have to copy the power gem from Sky Tyrant.
Copy the power gem, giving them 3 damage, blow up their object. Obviously, you can't do it with rings and gems, but all the other ones are fair game.
The newer ones specifically. Well, I guess it kind of started with exospecs and things like Waldo Arms, Alchemical Fire, Emotional Modifiers. Are your popular ones to get blown off the face of the planet.
Absolutely. So yeah, just take the lead and get them to come down to you, and then flurry everybody.
Now, I think Tylor mentioned this, and I think it's one of the coolest things that is kind of underrated with Sky Tyrant. And it's something that in my build with Bat Doom, I did not really use with Sky Tyrant that often, especially once I switched to the Waldo Arms. Sky Tyrant does have 2 bolts.
Yes.
So talk to us how you use your flurry to KO 2 maggots fairly regularly.
So yeah, what I did against Tylor was have it attack 2 maggots, because one of them's going to hit the super senses. You know it. Maybe both of them. But one of them's going to hit the super senses, so that way you're still sticking 5 to 6 damage on something.
Yeah, because you assign the damage after the super senses.
After they roll. So yeah, you're going to get something to stick. If you bring a Moloid with you, you're doing 6 damage. Not necessary when you're trying to kill 2 maggots, but I think at least on the first game you did roll out on one of them.
On one of them, yeah, and then you just
so then
damage
the other one died. Yeah. So that's the point. Yes, use the 2 bolts. So you're not quaking's good, but you're doing 2 damage. Right. Double the bolts.
That's true.
Right. Now, because my build with Tyrant uses the Waldo Arms, right? So I'm typically able to quake more things than the power gem version. Now the difference is that your monster team has the ability to do double TK, to whereas I only had the 1 TK
for 8 squares, though, right?
Yeah, one TK for 8 squares. You're TKing with Scarab and probably what the Mole Man, right? I think he gets
a lot of times you don't have to, but yeah.
Right. Just depending on the matchups is Just
correct.
depending, right? But if you need to, right, you can pump those 2 perplexes into attack and then get the double TK and then get the full
right.
mana.
And then you get one extra movement square with Mole Man, which helps as well.
Right. So if you're going to get something like a Mr. Oz or something like that, that can help out a whole bunch.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Do you still have full map reach with against Oz? Because that sets you back 4 squares.
Yeah.
He's got to with the double TK. And he's got double TK, he's got +1 from just the moment movement, and he's got access to 2.
You're essentially netting 9 squares after you've been moved back 4. So you're +9, and then he's going to move 11.
Well, I think it's I think you get 6 minus 2, so that'd be 4. Yeah, you're right. You get
2, 4 plus
the
movement.
Yeah, so
11. Yeah.
And then you get the one movement. You get the one movement because Sky Tyrant has to get out 9 to get the full map without a perplex to movement, and you get right there, right? So
yep. But yeah, he's got every team's going full map nowadays. You just know it's going to happen. Right. That's why winning map is so important.
Right. So just real quick there, just for our listeners, I don't want to speed round that too much because that's a neat little point against Oz. You TK out 6, you get moved back 2, that's 4 out. You TK again out 6, you get moved back 2, you're out 8. Mole Man lets you bounce 1 square, that's 9 out. You're 2 out already, that's 11. You go +11 squares on the charge, that's 22, punching into 23. So that way both of your perplexes can go into attack to make you a 13, and then the share
14 with the power gem.
There you go, 14 with the power gem. Now you can also share a keyword, which can make you a 15 if you're going into something like a Harry
modifier,
emotional modifier, Harry Leland, that sort of thing. And then so you'll be still a 13, like attacking a Blackheart with a modifier. You'd be a 12 attacking a Blackheart with a modifier and a Harry.
Which is not bad.
Which is not bad at all. So, I think that's really important about how beefed up you can make your Sky Tyrant. And keep in mind that's only, power. That's 50, 100, and then 2 gems, and then the Mole Man is like 160 of your build.
Yeah, you got a lot to play with.
Right,
lots of Wendigo.
Yeah, so you got like another 140 points, right? Because your Sky Tyrant, I realize that the Mole Man helps other things, but just specific to the Sky Tyrant portion of your engine, you've got 160 points tied up in that, which, makes Sky Tyrant an extra big nuclear missile.
My favorite thing about your team is the opening and how you do the cha-cha slide with the Moloid. That's my favorite thing about the team. Because so when he puts it on the map, he has most of his figures on the left, like Sky Tyrant, Moloid, or Mole Man, Scarab on the left side, and then he can't fit his Moloid over there, so he has them all the way on the right. So he just moves all of his Colossal or all of his Giants 1 square to just carry the Moloid all the way down the line to get him to Sky Tyrant. It's just the funniest thing.
You want him down there because when he does make his run, you want to be able to do 6 damage. So you gotta just slide him down.
Yeah, all the way down the line.
And the reason he doesn't fit is that you expand your starting zone, like almost on every single map. He expands, so that's why he puts all his Colossals down. Then he has to expand to fit the small guys, and generally on most maps he can't fit the Moloid over there. So if anyone's wondering why couldn't he just put him? Yeah,
it's a really fun team. I like it a lot.
Yeah, and I think I think when I saw your team played against it twice, and we'll talk about that. My first thought was, oh yeah. Like, everyone just forgot didn't forget Sky Tyrant, but forgot about Wendigos and Mole Man, I think because of Vulture for a while. And Batman too, but when Batman was doing the pen side of everything type build. So Vulture just ate up that team when Mole Man came out and Wendigos were out, so it's like, okay, well, this is a cool concept, but you're just going to lose every Wendigo, like, instantly with Vulture. But then Vulture retired. Yeah, and it's like, oh, yeah.
He is
Wendigos, yeah, this still exists, and no one's playing Batman with Exo or with giving him Pensai. So,
yeah, it's really similar to I ran a similar team, monster team in the Scott Porter event, except I had whales instead of like Scarab and Sky Tyrant, which I feel like your team's probably better than that, but I've played a similar team, and it's a lot of fun having the Wendigos with the free movement. You get so many attacks. Ugh.
I mean, what, in one turn you can be doing what, 3, 4, 5?
They can technically attack 5 times a turn. Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot. You know, you're dropping. You're going to be dropping something. Piece. That's one action, and you're probably going to be dropping a Troubler somewhere.
Yep, and they can. You probably hits and misses, and they can use Exploit for those free attacks. They can use Blades when they get it for those free attacks.
Yeah, it's better now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just got like and Colossal Stamina plus the movement. Like, he just is a lot better than he used to be, and people. He was really good.
Colossal Stamina plus Great Size, I think, is what you're trying to say.
Plus Great Size, yeah.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the team a lot. I think it plays a lot like my team in that it's very heavy alpha, not so much on defense, but it relies on winning map. But yours is a +2 on mine, so that makes it even better, right?
Oh yeah, we saw. If you were to go first,
it's
310.
I mean, we all have. So, like, I have modifier and super senses and props to defend. You do have the Proteus barriers to try and protect your important pieces. So there is some defense, but we both really want to go first.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a cool team.
Thank you.
Do you want to go over records for each of us? I don't know how long that would take, or just like key moments.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to talk about key moments because for me personally, I did stream all of my games on the Clixed Off YouTube channel. So I don't need to talk about. There's a few key points I want to bring up, but I think Pat, we can because you played Tylor and Alex twice each, right? So I think if we talk about if we let them talk about their days a little bit, and then let's have them talk about each of their 2 matches with you. That'll kind of like give a little bit of banter there on both of y'all's day, and then how you progressed through them or not through them to get to your win there.
Dan, do you want to talk about just the how many players we had?
Yeah, I guess we could. Yeah, that's fine.
Just talk about the tournament to start, and then we talk about how our days went.
Yeah, sure. So we had 23 players. So we did 5 rounds of Swiss, cut the top 8. Alex, you do have all the build sheets that you took pictures of. So we'll get those posted here this week. The top 8 build sheets are in the Facebook group. The day went well overall. We had pizza brought in. The venue was good, albeit maybe a little bit loud. A little bit echoey, I guess, would be the term.
I think those 2 sound dampeners half left on the wall, I think worked. So
yeah, I think it wasn't when we first got there. I thought it was going to be awful, but that's because everything was empty. Once we filled the room up, it wasn't that bad.
Right.
I didn't notice it at all. Yeah.
When we emptied things at the end, it got loud again.
Yeah, it did for sure.
Funny.
Yeah. So I think everybody had a good time, and
yeah, I really liked the event. It's honestly, it's one of the funnest I've been to. Like, it was a really good time. I would encourage other people to look at venues like that because it worked really well. We had a ton of space. It's just like, look at a local park or municipal building that they have to rent, because we had so much space the whole time. Every table everybody had their own table for each game, and there was space in between tables. So
yeah, I mean, I think the main thing for us was, a lot of people would say go to a game store, right? And that's kind of like the first option. But given that we provided all of the prizing as the podcast, right? We didn't want complications with the store, rightfully so wanting a cut of the action, right? We wanted to make sure that everything that we provided was going to the players that came, and we wanted to be able to play, right? That was the main thing for us.
And I think one of the big things I think that made it better, because the day was over at 8 o'clock ish.
Yeah, we started an hour earlier than normal.
Yeah, and we started later than we wanted to because we had some people arriving late. But the thing that I think that changed everything, and really only this event could do it outside of maybe at Howard's, is lunch being there and provided, because we had pizza there.
Kitchen, and there was a refrigerator too for drinks and stuff.
Yeah, that was a really quick break, and I think everybody was fine
Yes,
with it,
it was a very quick break, but it didn't feel rushed because you didn't have to go anywhere. You just sat there.
Yeah, because we ultimately pizza arrived and ordered everybody pizza, or someone ordered us pizza, right?
Well, so part of lunch was sponsored, and we paid for everybody's lunch otherwise. So.
And so it arrived between out of the 5 rounds of Swiss between round 4 and 5. So we ended up having like an extra 10-15 minutes between those 2 rounds, where everyone just grabbed a piece of pizza and ate it. And then we went straight into round 5, and when round 5 was over and we had top cut, there was no reason to give time outside of maybe a little extended a break, but it wasn't like typical tournaments where it's like, all right, see you back in 2 hours or hour and a half, go somewhere. It's just like, hey, let's just go ahead and get it going,
right?
Because people wanted to leave. We're dishing out prizing. I think it went smoothly. Like, for someone who travels like me, and I usually try to go home the day of the tournament, unless it's really far away, getting done, and I was in the final match, getting done at like 8 o'clock is way different than most other tournaments.
Yeah, we were actually locked up and closed by 8. I think we were, it was 8 Central Time at least. We were done with the tournament by 7, and that was, starting about 45 minutes later because of the folks running late as well. So.
Yeah, and you think about a lot of other in-person tournaments where it's a big turnout and whatnot. You see tournament results pouring in at like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. at times, just because there's that break, and that has to be for people to go out and get food and have time. And so I think that's one benefit of how we did this, and I hope people pick up on that if they're able to just provide food and just don't even like I'm gonna see if Howard even wants to do that for more events at Lucky Dice, because if he could get they have the cafe there, so it's like, why even have an hour and a half? Just take orders for top 8 or something, dish them out, and then just go 30 minutes later or something. I don't know. Yeah, I mean I don't see. It made it smooth, made it a nice day. I had a blast. I thought the location was great. Yeah, turnout was great. I was glad everybody that showed up. Overall,
great. You guys ran a great tournament. It was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
And super props to Chad.
Yeah,
great
Chad
judging. Yeah,
Chad stayed with me Friday night and Saturday night, and we greatly appreciate Chad coming down and judging.
Chad is a whiz because he was able to just turn in points, and I feel like after everyone turned in points, it was like 5 minutes later, even less.
Oh yeah,
he's like, here's pairings, and I was like, oh, all right, let's go.
He did in a tournament that size that was that quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on top of it, so definitely props to Chad Birdsall.
Yeah.
He definitely deserves it. He did a very, very good job.
And I would add, on that front, I would add one more little piece of information that did help. So, I work in tech for folks that don't know. The building didn't have internet, which is almost like a no-go for some folks. But my iPad and my phone both have unlimited data for tethering. So I tethered my iPad for Chad, and then I streamed the event from my phone. So, if you're looking at that, right, maybe ask some questions of your cell provider of, how can you tether things to run an event from anywhere where there's 4 walls and a roof, right?
Yeah.
So you can make those municipality type buildings work for you. So
That all things considered, out of different tournaments that have different issues and whatnot, I think our only issue that we ever had was just two people arriving late, and that wasn't even really an issue. We got their build sheets, they texted it to us, so that way we could at least get them approved. So that way when they showed up, one of them randomly ended up having the buy, and the other one just ran in and sat down and got ready to play. Like, it was super smooth. So
yeah. I would say there was two things that happened that I want to make sure that so we clear up on the podcast. Minor things, right? I think overall it went really well, right? So we're a podcast. We talk about things, right? So that's what we do. We allowed the hedge maze for this particular event because it is a 2019 prize map and it's a current prize map being given out by the Rock. I think it's maybe technically retired, but the prize one is the paper one's a current prize one. One guy played it, whatever. It's probably not legal for the next Rock map event you go to. Whatever. It was on stream. It was on my stream the first round. Everyone's like, it's not legal. And I'm like, Chad said that it was legal for this. It's fine, right? It was fine. No big deal. I mean, I lost. I lost to the guy on hedge maze. It's not a big deal, I'm telling you. And the other thing was the guys from Missouri that came had these really cool magnetic markers for their swap out team. And Chad...
I saw this.
Yeah, Chad said can't use those.
Well,
now I'll explain. Can't use those before the round starts because you can't bring notes into the match. You can take notes after the match started. So I think there was a little bit of a misunderstanding there because Chad even openly said to everybody during announcements, you are welcome to take notes after the match starts, which falls in line with WizKids rules. So I think there was a little bit of a misunderstanding there that the guys couldn't use their magnetic pads at all. And they looked really cool. And I think that there is maybe a little bit of worry there that those guys, if they use them, to make sure that they wipe them off every round, right? Because they're little magnet things on there, right? So you just got to make sure that you wipe the magnet off there, right? So that you're not just plopping it down every time and there's not any sort of appearance of anything. I personally think they look cool and I think it's fine, right? It doesn't... It is what it is, right? But Chad, wanted to run things very much by the rules, which was totally fine. And, other than the fact that they had this cool little piece of accessory, I don't think it slowed down or stopped them from being able to do their swap out teams as intended.
And one other thing, and we don't need to talk about this too much because I don't want to make this into a big debate. Chad at the very beginning of the tournament did make an intent ruling, which was appropriate.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was a big to-do about Maggot bringing in Eenies and Meanies, and then the way he's written, when you remove Eenie and Meanie from the map, sucking them up or whatever, they're removed from the map. But Maggot doesn't have anything to say when you pop out Meanie again, you return that one that's off the map back onto the map. So Adam Friedman wrote an article about it where technically you keep creating Meanies and Eenies and keep removing them from the map, and they're just a big stack of Eenies and Meanies off the map. And the only thing that really is impacted by that is force count, because things removed from the map still count towards your force. So theoretically, you keep putting in Eenies and Meanies removed from the map, your force count keeps going up. So that means facing Lord Doom, that's bad. Chad ultimately ruled it intent purposes, where that's not how it should be. And hopefully WizKids will issue an errata to kind of make sure that that's the case, which was appropriate, despite me playing Lord Doom and wanting to face Tylor and wanting that to be the case. I just wanted to bring that up because we're trying to be, knowledgeable, and everybody, I always hated this. One of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to national and worlds is when people relate to rulings made at nationals and worlds and that was never announced to anybody. So It's like, So it's like, oh, well, no, WizKid said this at Nationals, and that's why this should be ruled this way. And it's like, no one said anything was ruled that way. How am I supposed to trust? I wasn't at Nationals. How am I supposed to know that? And that hasn't happened recently.
Right.
But that's why I wanted to at least say, Chad made that decision. I think it was appropriate also. An intent ruling, because we didn't want that to get out of hand. I don't think it would have, but it's something currently left in the air that WizKids, I think, at some point needs to address or fix.
Right.
Just because it's the way they've worded something just doesn't work how it's intended. So it needs to be fixed. Just plain and simple.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, and the main thing was that Chad was very vocal. He was he made sure everybody filled out their build sheets right, much to some people's chagrin. It wasn't like over the top, right? Like you misspelled this or whatever, but he made build sheets were filled out thoroughly. And you got to keep in mind, the main reason we wanted to have Chad come in and judge is, one, we respect Chad as a judge and his abilities, but two, we all wanted to play, right? We wanted to give a unique opportunity. I don't know, maybe not unique, right? But we wanted an event where it's the Clixed Off Classic. You're going to be able to play against Team Clixed Off. Because there was 6 of us in the field, so where you can get to come and play against us. So I think that all worked out really well. So we are transparent about what happened. If something changes, it may not be valid for the next tournament. That's how things go, and I think everybody was okay with Chad's with those few little rulings that Chad made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Cool.
It was good. The pizza was good. That was my second choice for the pizza, so I'm glad it turned out okay. Pat, you do a bar, right? Like you have a bar. Does it serve food?
I have a bar. Nope, no food, just booze.
Yeah.
We don't waste time with food.
Gotcha. So, but you are in the service industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So Friday, I went to go order the pizza for the event, and I walk into the pizza place there in town that I wanted to order from, and I'm like, hey, I need to pre-order some pizzas. Can I do that? And they're like, for when? And I'm like, for tomorrow. We're not open on Saturdays.
Oh.
And I'm
Now,
like,
was this pizza by Alfredo or Alfredo's Pizza Cafe?
no, I
That's
mean, no,
important.
I don't know about all that, but it's
an
really
an office reference.
Oh, gotcha. No, it's a really good pizza place. But I went with my second choice, which I think everybody was fine with. But I just found it funny that there was
Very strange.
a pizza place that's not open on Saturday.
Pizza on Saturday, though, right?
Yeah.
They could. Okay, maybe they're Seventh-day Adventists. That's all I'm trying to say. I mentioned that before.
I guess it's just.
What she told me there in the store is that there's only 3 of them that run the place, including delivery, and they just can't work that much. They're already working like 4.
I'm sure.
Three,
They're short staffed.
yeah,
But
3
take Monday off.
3 or 4. They're
Right,
they're
that's what I'm
closed.
saying.
They're closed Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I think they're.
Pizza place is closed on the weekends.
Hey, if you make good food, you can work whatever hours you want because people are going to show up.
Yeah,
when
to
you're
be
open.
fair,
Yeah, you'll just make a lot less money.
to be fair, the guy that does deliver, he drives an old truck, and you see it around town all the time. So I think they're busy when they're open. So, anywho, Alex, kind of start about your day, and then let's talk about your 2 matches there with Pat. What did you play, and how did kind of your day go there? Any big things to talk about?
Yeah, so I played a Latveria team. I bounced back and forth with teens for like the day before. And reluctantly got rid of Master Mold, but I think that was ultimately the right choice. So the team is consisted of 6 pieces, the 2 flashes, Doom, Doom the Annihilating Conqueror, Molecule Man, Emperor Gladiator, Gladi-Daddy, and then the last one is Nathaniel Richards, to give basically Gladi-Daddy whatever attack power he wants. In my heart, I really like the idea of giving Gladiator energy explosion, but I also liked it in the case of giving him precision strike. So I was looking at both of those, or give Doom Quake. So I was like, you know what? For 25 points, I think this is worth it. Or to give me a second TK. I actually used him to TK also.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was actually surprisingly useful, but once I did that thing with the ability, he suddenly was not useful anymore. He was
power at least.
I never used it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, never. I also had the Power Gem and Reality Gem, very much like Pat. I bounced back and forth between Soul Power and Reality, but I really liked Emperor Gladiator having 2 targets. Like, that just was nice, just in general.
I just want to say, we talked about your items for a while. I really think the Reality is the best object for Gladiator. Because like you can give him Soul, but that's +1 defense is just worse than having to flex, and then you get to heal. But I just feel like the 2 targets is just way better.
So yeah, I think Soul is still good, but Power is useful in certain matchups. The ones are mirror matches. I went against someone who was playing very similar, Rob. I don't remember his last name. Sorry, Rob.
Rob McCants.
Yeah, he was playing almost a mirror match, except he had Star Sapphire instead of Nathaniel. I was playing, and this was in top 8, but I was able to one-shot Doom because I had Power Gem. Without Power Gem, I could not one-shot Doom, and that completely changed the game. But at the same time, it was about 50-50 in all my matches. Now, for the day, I went undefeated 5-0 going into cut, and then I won all my matches until the championship round against Pat, which we'll talk about. But ultimately, I think it was 50-50. I switched between Reality and Power. It was totally matchup dependent on, if I looked and saw, okay, 6 damage isn't needed to kill most of these pieces, I'll switch to Reality. One of those matches was against Pat, because against Pat's team, Gladiator could one-shot, I think, almost anybody on that team. I think. Is that
easily? I don't think I have more than. I think Moleman's the big dog with 5 clicks.
Yeah. And so Reality, and we could go and talk about that matchup, but the first matchup we met in Swiss round 3, 4, something like that.
4 on the stream.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. It was on Chris's.
You guys can watch me get crushed.
Yeah, Chris Cottrell was there with Clixbait. He did record matches. He should have them up this week, so on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, I ended up winning map, funny enough. So he was a +3. I somehow still won map, so I took him. Oh, I'm playing Latveria Village. Let me talk about that for a second. Latveria Village, I always thought wasn't that great because I used to play it on a team with Doom, and it's like, this stinks because Lord Doom hates this map because I suddenly get 3 peasants. But man, Emperor Gladiator loves this map.
Yep.
1, because it's got a bunch of blocking. 2, he could just run around with peasants and mastermind to them. And Latveria peasants are the new seals, because I stole so many objects. I made them little greedy Latveria peasants who ran out and stole so many gems and so many emotional modifiers, and people did not know what to do. They spent so much, and they only had 3 actions because of Doom. Because I played Doom 67 the entire time. I had Lord Doom for Tylor, but I didn't switch to Source or DJ Doom. I had them. I never did it. So stealing their objects just throws it. It's an easy fix. Like, nobody ran out with Sky Tyrant and killed one. Completely blew my mind because it's kill one. You did, yes. Sorry, you did on yours.
Didn't work. Still lost.
Yeah, but I was thinking with Gladiator. Like, no one went out with Gladiator to shoot and then protect him and be like, haha, I got a confidence token. Like, that blew my mind. They were just like, oh, I'm going to use Flash, charge Flash, kill him, pick up the object, and I can't drop it. But, oh well. Like, they just didn't know what to do. And those either map side, I can get a peasant to steal your object and sometimes hide around the corner, but otherwise I'm just sitting there. It was great. It was great for Mastermind because I give Mastermind to Doom. So that way Doom can Mastermind to him. He never did. Mostly they just hung around Gladiator, who has traded Mastermind. So Gladiator just flew some peasants around half the time. And, I mean, those peasants died a ton because they got Masterminded to. It's an amazing, amazing map. Amazing location bonus. It's by far my favorite. I like it much more than Reign of Terror. So on this, it was probably one of the most important pieces, outside of the main pieces, one of the most important adds to this team. So against Pat, once again, I won map, took him to Latveria Village, had the peasants. I don't, like, Pat, I guess you expected it, but maybe didn't see the reality EE combo. Because I was able to get that off to kill 3 of your Wendigos, and then kill, I think, Storm, and damage 2 others, I think is how that
You killed
happened.
a lot of them, and it really bothered me because I had been playing Nathaniel Richards up until about 2 weeks ago, so I should have absolutely had seen that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got everybody.
Yeah, and obviously that ploy wore off, because that absolutely did not happen the second time.
I'm not going to let it happen again.
Yeah, did not happen the second time. But that ultimately is what I think won me the match, because it was still a close game. Like, even after that had happened, the points-wise was still surprisingly close. After all of that, because Sky Tyrant lived for a while, and then your rookie just didn't die for 4 or 5 turns.
He had a spot to hit. Stealth is kind of a rough spot for Gladiator, right?
Yes. Yeah, my team cannot handle stealth very well. I've been thinking about switching to a ring or something, but going into this event, my assumption was Bat Doom was probably the only major stealth I was going to deal with. I didn't think about Rookie, because honestly, I forget about Rookie half the time. But yeah, Rookie kept him in the game 100%, because Rookie was just sitting in the back behind a building and just kept sniping like over and over, and I just couldn't get into a position to shoot. He brought Lloyd and Wendigo up and just kept basing Gladiator, and Gladiator kept taking the hits and was just like, okay, I'm just going to stand here for a while, but he couldn't get anywhere. I didn't have any TKs. I didn't want to burn any moves to try to move away. He was double tokened half the time anyway. So you took out my flash, you took out a bunch of my pieces, you got Mole Man up in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I kept making Shiars. The Mastermind too. It was good at the time until I realized the points were adding up. So I ended up winning that match. It was surprisingly close after that opening or second turn or whatever. Salvo.
It never felt close, but I think it was within like 50 points. I think by the end of it.
Yeah, that was not the case in the championship round. So in the championship game, I lost map very easily. Like, it was a lucky that I won it in the first match. I was and I don't know, Pat, you could talk more about this, but my thought was I was hoping to do the the reality thing again, but I knew you knew about it at that point. You weren't going to let it happen, and I knew you already started moving your Wendigos apart.
If you would have done it again, I'd have just walked home.
Yeah, but it was
I think Nate would have had to have tie a concrete block to your feet, right?
That's fair. Yeah. Yes.
It wasn't that close of a match the second time at all. It felt okay to start with, because I barriered up. You did the cha-cha slide with the Lloyd. You were outwitting my TK, which was really annoying on my flash. But I had a second TK with.
Yeah, you still snuck me with Nathaniel Richards.
Yep. I was like, all right, I got a TK, so I can still do it, because I was able to TK Emperor Gladiator up and snipe Sky Tyrant. So I was able to kill Sky Tyrant, but then I was too close with Emperor Gladiator to all your freaking Wendigos and like all that nonsense. And well, it was also the Storm. The Storm was the main MVP, I think, that match, because
that's a good piece that I think people don't realize what it does. It's the precision strike there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the precision strike and then the mind control, because that's one of Gladiator's weaknesses, is just like he's fairly easy to mind control, and destroy pieces, but you didn't even go for any of my pieces. I think you shot Flash and I missed. You missed Flash with my Gladiator, I think. But Gladiator then was in the forest with a bunch in the graveyard with like 4 Wendigos around him.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, well, I guess we'll play this Impervious game, and I absolutely lost the Impervious game. Because I may have hit 1, but man, with so many attacks.
I think we said that each one's making 5.
Yeah.
Possible attacks.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Exactly. I fought back a little bit after Gladiator, not enough to win by any means, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't disheartened losing Gladiator. I was like, all right, I got to play this out, see where I could get, and I was able to fight back a little bit. I did
a lot of damage.
Yeah, but hindsight, I probably and there was one other match. I'm debating whether I should have played Sorcerer.
I think Sorcerer in that match would have been better, right? Because losing the 1 action isn't that much if I'm doing 5 attacks with 3 actions. It's 15
attacks.
Right, and so being able to prob every single attack because I can.
Yeah, and kill 2. He's got two bolts, right?
Right.
You can kill 2 of them.
And that really comes from me not having practiced the team at all. I got 2 games in the night before with the team, and I hadn't really thought about who do I want to switch in. I think against you was one, and then against Jason Allen, fellow team member, he was playing a X-Men switch out, but with Emperor Gladiator, and he had cables and whatnot. So I didn't realize it till later. I played Doom against him, but when you're playing against Emperor Gladiator, Doom, it almost feels like a trap because Emperor Gladiator could just one-shot Doom half the time because he's equipped with Power Gem. So you forget how feeble Doom is because he could be outwitted, which Pat did because of Scarab. Which that was another mistake. I should have been picking up those objects, and I just forgot that if you hold them, you can't do anything with them. I haven't played against Scarab in a while.
He's coming back.
Yep, thanks to you.
PJ's got something to do with that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was a good match. I mean, both matches were good. But yeah, I felt good about the day. I did not expect to go 5-0 into top 8. I just figured I hadn't practiced the team.
This is your second event in a row doing that, right?
Going undefeated in the yeah. I did it in Moorhead with the Lassophobia team. And then this team, I felt good about this team, but like I said, I hadn't practiced it. Also, my biggest weakness, I didn't call in a freaking trouble alert or let's make trouble the entire event.
That
like
seems bad.
Yeah.
Legit. Because I forgot half the time, but I also wasn't making 3 attacks a lot of the time. It was literally Emperor Gladiator coming up, shooting, TKing stuff up. Doom was really my only option, and by the time that was happening, I was already thinking of my next turn, that I forget that I could still bring in trouble alerts. So that's, if I'm taking anything away from this, that's one thing I gotta remember to do.
Yeah, and I think Alex, the only thing, just as a sideline, and the finals was recorded as well, if anyone wants to go watch. I think the only thing that I would have done different is you went and shot with Gladiator to kill Tyrant, and I believe the option should have been to go send out Flash and go punch Tyrant with an object.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, because you're still at 12. You had a Perplex in there somewhere, so you'd have been
on Gladiator. Gladiator had Perplex.
Yeah, so Gladiator makes Flash a 13. He goes, steals one of the objects, which, stops, slows down the outwit, and then you kill Tyrant. So then Pat's down, and then has to engage with you on your terms. He was, he was still
50-30 trade.
Yeah, 50-30 trade, and then it's more on your level, right? So then you just got to mitigate Storm and Scarab. To whereas Storm was definitely key to getting Gladiator away from your team. And I would say, Pat, you're right. I'm glad you brought that up about Storm, because I looked at your sheet, right, and you probably remember this signing up, and you probably giggled at me in your head at least. I was like, Storm? And you were like, yeah, Storm. And I'm like, Storm? Storm?
Yeah. Well, two bolts, right? 8 range, precision strike. It's great at putting wounded tokens around. And good stats. She's mind control with 14.
Do you still get the mind control if the hit target's dead?
No. No.
See,
that out in our game.
Then Flash would have been the absolute choice, because Storm would absolutely have killed Flash.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been singing that Storm's praises for a while. She does a ton. Like, she got worth with the knockback stuff for sure, but I mean, she ignores characters. She's got good range. She doesn't have the indifference. Like, she's just very solid if she makes sense on the build, which she doesn't for a lot. But
yeah, because
it is a prime slot.
Right,
I think on monsters, you're not really seeing. There's no other prime really. Wonder Woman. I think there's a Wonder Woman prime.
Doppelganger too.
Doppelgangers. So I guess there are options, but 25-point retail, I'll take her.
Yeah, well,
and you can't snipe her because she's not colossal either. That's the other thing.
Right.
Yeah, she's hiding behind all the tall guys.
Well, and she's actually a 20 from range as well, right? So that's a big one.
Correct.
Yep.
But yeah,
So
for prime monsters, she's actually fighting against Venom, Riot, Scream, Doppelganger.
Oh yeah, Venom.
Okay. Turns out there's a lot of monsters. Whatever. I don't know. I've never looked at them.
There's not good ones.
Right. Yeah. Doppelganger's trash now, boys. You heard it here first from Tylor.
No, I said the rest of them. Doppelganger surprised me.
Yeah. One last thing I would want to say about the team that I want to practice to see if I could do with Nathaniel. I can't because of the way Flash is, or the way Flash works. I wish I could figure out a good yo-yo, because I feel like that would make Gladiator better. But to get full map reach, I can't. So, because against his team, I mean, the yo-yo probably would have been better. Yeah, oh, there you go, man. Why didn't I think about that? I'll do that next time. So. That
was such a broken item. Oh. Yeah, I like the team a lot. I like reality on Gladiator a ton. I think it's very good.
Let's see if we had any questions particular to like Gladdy Daddy type stuff here.
There were a lot in the tournament, I think.
Right.
I was surprised how many I saw. I mean, probably at least 5 were played, right?
So
I have the build sheet. I guess I can look.
Yeah, we don't probably. I don't know if you have all that statistics handy, but in top 8 there was Alex.
3, right?
Malcolm could swap one in. Jay was playing it.
I think that's it.
And Robbie. So half of our top 8 was playing Emperor Gladiator, with one of them being a swap team.
I played against 5 out of my 9 games.
Wow.
Yeah, and the other 2 were Tylor and one was Sam. So,
dang,
he was out there.
Yeah, he is. He's gonna continue to be. So you gotta have a plan against him.
I mean, I think the thing is that Emperor Gladiator is the closest thing that we have to a viable tempo right now.
That's fair.
I know he doesn't technically qualify, but he's the closest thing that we've got.
I think 7 so far.
Yeah.
8.
Yeah, make
sure
to look at the swap ones.
Yeah, 3 of those are on the swap. 8, 9, because Jay played. Yeah, 9. I think we had around 9. 3 of them were swapped. Yeah, 3 were swapped.
Close to half the field.
I mean, 3 of them were on our Clixed Off. I mean, me, Jason, and TJ were all playing Emperor.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, prepare.
Yeah. Prepare for the Gladiator.
For blocking.
Yeah, I mean, to prepare, and real quick, I guess, to talk about Emperor, his biggest weakness is 4 Wendigos that can make 5 attacks each.
I think stealth is a big one too, right?
Well, stealth you can mitigate with Gladiator if you build for it. Which, if stealth builds up, I'm going to build for it more. Like I had planned to play.
I guess just swapping out, you can have Manta, right?
Right.
Yeah, or if you're not playing that type of team, I was just going to play, what is it, Diamonic or one of the rings.
Somebody was playing it with them.
Somebody, I played against Preston, who had it on there.
Okay.
Yeah. But for me, it just wasn't. It wasn't big enough to. It wasn't a big enough threat. I didn't see enough stealth in my head.
Great.
So, but yeah, he's bad against multiple attacks, but he's also bad if he just misses his first attack. I mean, that's pretty cut and dry. I think players who rely too much on the confidence token are going to lose more than anything. Mastermind is what makes him great. Unoutwittable Mastermind.
Yeah, I think
Period.
you nailed it earlier that mind control is one of his weaknesses. Cause that's
Yeah,
why
because
I beat him with just Grodd mind controlling the two things away from him.
Right.
he's
Well, that
definitely going to kill one of your own pieces, like 100%.
Yeah, because if he smacks your own team, that's really bad, right?
Generally, yeah. I would
Yeah.
say.
Well, there's so much mind control out there too right now.
Yeah, there is.
So, Tylor, anything new with animals other than losing to Pat twice?
I played 6 rounds, so I went 4-1 in Swiss, and then I played Pat in the top cut and lost that run. So out of my 6 games with a +9 theme, I lost map 5 times. So just be aware that can happen, and it is very important on an alpha team with not much defense to go first. So, yeah, we just keep that in mind. But the team still feels really good. Nothing. The thing that surprised me was there wasn't much Harry Leland. There was only 2 in the field, I think we said.
Yeah, Grover and I played Harry. We're the only 2 people to play Harry.
Yeah, and I was expecting to see more of that.
Everybody knew you would be there, right?
Maybe that's true. But yeah, I would expect to see more of him. But nothing specifically new that I had discovered during the tournament. Grodd is very good. Is my takeaway. Just if you don't kill my Grodds on my, he's almost like after Maggot. I think Grodd is almost my second scariest piece on the second turn. Because if you leave him up, he's gonna mind control your team with 12 attack. You could Quake mind control now, so that's great. Mind control's really good with all the Mastermind running around. He's got dual targets for range with his mind control. So he's super good. Yeah, so I'm trying to think. Other than the losing map thing, there wasn't anything that stuck out to me. Against Pat specifically, that was something. So the first, I lost map against Pat twice, and he took me to my map that I brought, and then I lost map to Jason Allen, and he also took me to my map. So even though I lost map most of the time, I was still on Glen Grove most of the time. So that was a little weird. But yeah, against Pat, the first time, he moved up and equipped. I really couldn't do anything because most of his team was in first turn immunity. So I moved up as best I could. I perplexed up, and then I tried to position so that his Sky Tyrant could hit the least amount of things. That still ended up being 2 maggots. He killed my emotional modifier both times, which was very mean because I like that. I like that object. But he does not. So I didn't get that either of the games. Yeah, and then the first game, so he came up and killed my maggots. Then I still went up and did my alpha. I can't even remember what I had killed. I think I left Sky Tyrant alone. Oh, one thing, the first I hit the 6 on the Ultra Humanite to get his Sky Tyrant double token, but then he hit the leadership. So I was
I hit 2
sad
leadership
about that.
after that. Right?
Yeah. Which is good positioning, obviously, by you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the first match up, I think I scored like 150-ish points. I really just moved up and did my alpha, but I didn't have enough alpha to deal with the Wendigos, and I had to move up. So then the Wendigos just took me out. The second matchup in the top 8, it went worse. He did his equipment things, so instead of just waiting on my turn, I decided, you know what, let's just go after him this turn, because he had to move out a Wendigo, Commissioner, and Storm. So it's like 65 points that's outside of his starting area. He expected to just be able to mastermind. He had the cool trick where you can mastermind into people who have first turn immunity, so you can't really kill him. But he only has 3 clicks, and I have 3 Maggot Pogs, so I just poisoned him 3 times. But it just was a worse idea. I thought it was. That's why I didn't do it the first round. But I'm like, I'm probably gonna lose anyway, so let's just try this. It was a worse idea because then his next turn he had his Empower with his Sky Timer, and he had all the Wendigos attack me, so it was much worse.
Scarab could do 5 damage.
And yeah,
and all the outwits.
Yeah, all the outwits were there for the super senses, so it was much worse.
You didn't even have to attack through an object because they were just right there, right?
No, and he can do 5 with his hands.
With his hands?
Yeah, Scarab, them hands work.
Yeah, throwing them hands, yeah, that's true. I did get the privilege of letting Pat know that Scarab does not indeed fly. That's a fun quirk about that.
Yeah, just wings.
Yeah, just the
wings. Yeah,
he does not fly. So
just very much just like Lex Luthor and his rocket boots. He doesn't get to fly.
Yeah, and I think there's a Lex Luthor with a pistol that had no range, but yeah, some of that. The animal
maybe the same Lex Luthor.
It might be. But yeah, animal team is still. I think it's gonna stay good until stuff retires. It just works really well together. There's a lot of good pieces, but.
Tyler,
it's just a bad matchup against Pat just because they're so similar, but he's +2. So,
Tyler, I gotta ask for those that are not familiar with the animal team. So, who does most of the moving, like carrying everyone? Is it Spider Ham?
He does it for 1 turn. So it's the opening turn is TK off Spider Ham 6, carry up the team 2 Spider Ham with Chip. And then Spider Ham has 12 movement, so he moves the rest of the way to get their starting area. But then after that, I always just swap him to Injustice League and just have, for mainly Chip carrying around after that for sidestep and stuff.
Okay. So what do you do in instances with like a lot of blocking? Just have Chip go to town and run around?
Well, even with blocking, it's I can get him to a 14 movement, so I can get 14 is enough. I can get over halfway across the map, so if there's any sort of TK lines, even for like 4 squares, 4 plus 18, and then I get it would be 4 plus 14 if I flex movement is I'm in square 18 plus 2 for the starting area is 20, and then I can sidestep with Chip after that to get to 22, placing 23, attacking 24. So even again in really indoor areas, I don't rely on TK lines too much, so I can still get really far.
Okay, because I had a strategy in case we met and in case I won map. And I was super curious if I could stop you by having a line of blocking across 1 row of the map and whether you could get through that line of blocking or not.
There are some maps where I don't have full map reach for sure, but I don't think there's ever a map where I have less reach than my opponent. It's because I just can carry with 14 movement and then sidestep after that, so I feel like I'm always gonna hit first. That's what it feels like, and that's been true so far.
Okay, cool. I can stop you on this map. So
you gotta win map. Yeah, you gotta win map.
Winning map is important. +9 apparently is not good enough anymore, so that's something to consider for sure.
I think inquiring minds want to know, Tyler, what is the next team that you're going to think about for 3 weeks before you ultimately switch back to Animal?
That's a tough decision. I like the team that I've been talking about. I'm practicing with that team.
I don't believe you. You didn't play it. I mean,
what are you talking about?
It's
another alpha.
Yeah, it's an alpha team. It's Scientist and Ruler, and it uses Spider-Man family, so Devenom and Pharaoh. And then it also has what's the name? Molecule Man, Grodd, and Brainiac. So I win map. I go to Ultron Layer, which is all elevated, right? I have like 20 squares of barrier. Yeah. So they turn. I equip, then they go, and then my turn. I move all the way across the map, and roll for Brainiac's thing, and then I smoke cloud with Molecule Man, and then I roll for Grodd's thing. So I get two. I get 2 of those things. Scientists have things like Atom for the alpha, things like Flash to carry for the alpha.
Yeah. Molecule Man.
Yeah, Molecule Man is good for the hindering for Grod, and also kind of defending yourself with the barrier. So it's pretty fun.
I was running a scientist Spider-Man family hybrid team, and I'm no longer doing it. Just to let you know how it worked out for me.
Okay. Yeah, I still believe. So we'll see.
Yours sounds better.
Yeah, the problem is at this point we don't know when the next big in-person event's going to be happening. So.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to get into my new house. It's not done. I'm to the point now where it's like I'm just gonna go ahead and start packing my Clix for it because I don't think there's another major tournament for the next month and a half that we have to have figures for. I mean,
Right.
that
Nothing
sounds
I've heard
about
about.
right. Yeah, I mean, we've got the broadcast stuff occasionally. We've got the charity event, the JSA charity thing that they do online. When's the next Clix Mafia thing? Is that not till January? Is that usually when
We're
it
talking
is?
about it right now. We did it, I think, November, the very first one, but
Yeah.
then things weren't important. So then Tylor won it probably later in the year.
So
Right.
your first one was December of 19, then 20
Okay.
happened, and then the other one was February of 21.
This year, right?
Yeah, this year. Yeah, there's one in January or February of this year. I was in that one too. So
Yeah, Tylor won it.
Yeah.
So
Did.
yeah, we're talking about. We want to do it in person. We actually just started talking about it this week because we had such a good time over with you guys. So we'll be putting something out soon.
Nice. That's
Um,
exciting.
the only other one I could think of is that Sets Appeal or whatever it's called tournament that they do.
Yeah, but that's nothing is 300 modern in person.
The in-person part's the key thing. There are plenty of tournaments still popping up. in
Brad's doing the
winter
Lord's
time.
work over there.
Yeah, Brad-
Yes.
Yeah,
Great
Brad's kind of leading the pack on 300 modern online.
Yeah, and that's
A lot of those other things you just said aren't 300 modern. So
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking from the standpoint of like just tournaments in general that we're excited about or thinking about. It's just there's
Yeah, that's pretty much
Nothing.
Brad's stuff, and then there's nothing else. You go and play in Brad's thing, and you go up against 8 guys, and it's like you're in the cut of a major tournament. It's great
those
talent
are all
there.
so good.
Yeah,
And then
But I
Joe
guess-
just wins everything. So.
But then I guess one thing we should point out though, I mean, that's kind of what happened normally. Like this is the time of year where there's just nothing, right? Like
Right, yeah.
I remember October, November, December, like we maybe get one set, but it's generally just like this is the dead period.
Well,
Because in January is when rocks would start up and WKOs would start up again. Because there was like 1 or 2 years we got WKOs in November, but that was it.
Worlds was happening in November.
yeah, I was gonna say for
Right,
a
right.
couple years there was
That's
Worlds.
I don't remember Memphis. I think that might have even been around November too. But Philly, I think, was definitely in November.
yeah, Philly was in
Philly was the
November.
only one.
Philly was in November.
Philly
and
was in
then
December.
Yeah, December actually.
Worlds was in
September.
Memphis was in October.
Memphis
Yeah.
was in September.
No,
Was it?
October, I think.
I think it was October.
Right around that time.
Yeah, man. You don't understand, Pat.
This was 2019, guys. This was years. That was the
Right.
last person.
You don't understand. We have to be accurate. This is how the team works.
You guys are respected journalists here. I'm sorry.
That's right. And it was September of 2019. I just Googled it. So
We've only had one major tournament in November. Now last year we obviously had the rock stuff going on. I think in the rock / nationals, whatever. The online thing was in October. I think maybe that's what I'm
Right.
thinking of. But in person, that Philly tournament was really the only one that I could think of that was a major in person. I know we had one WKO in November-ish or October-ish, but besides that, I feel like this time period has always been all right, January is when everything ramps back up. Let's just take a break from Clix a little bit, calm our minds down, maybe buy some new ones, but it wasn't ever a big tournament scene. So
It's kind of true.
I feel like at this point we're so eager for things to be back, but this isn't a normal time that we play anyway. So who knows?
yeah.
Hungry,
So
though. Everybody's hungry.
So speaking of Joe Alves winning all of Brad's tournaments, Joe is the king, or Joe Safa is the king of unthemed. And I took to heart a question Scott Crampton asked. is unthemed viable? I think was kind of the thing of the question. So I played an unthemed team. There was only 2 in the whole tournament.
21 of 23 teams were themed.
Yeah, and I was 8th seed, and Devin Nunemaker was the other one. He placed 9th. So
there's some viability there.
So here's the problem, though, and I was texting with Jason Allen about this the other day, earlier today, and the chance to be able to win map or mitigate map is too important, and too many pieces work too well together. So it used to be, Alex, there's feedback on your mic right now, actually. Sorry. And there's too many pieces that work well together. So you're not just building theme to fluff it, right? Like your monster team, Pat. Everything can take us a 1 square step, right?
Right.
That works really well with the Wendigos that like to take steps.
Sure. And the bumps to generic theme teams, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's true. Like Tylor, your team, there's not a lot of fluff there. The Grods given power. The High Evolutionary gives you more probs because you're animal. The Spider Ham attacks afterwards, right? I think on the Latveria side of things, you get, a free map.
Half of the meta.
Right, you get half of the meta on the same theme team. You get a free map bonus, right? That's 5 points. 5 points is a lot. You get really powerful swap figures. The swap teams, the X-Men and Brotherhood, all those things work really well together. So, I don't think theme team is a trap. So my point I made to Jason earlier was the chance to be able to win map and go first and dictate the play of field, you're starting a battle uphill. So every time I have to play unthemed teamed, I am having to play to my opponent. I'm having to play on their chosen field. I'm having to grab the uphill battle from them. Because I didn't even come close in 6 rounds to winning map.
Which is pretty crazy, though.
Where I didn't come, I rolled
statistically that shouldn't be that bad.
If you're down 3, it's about a 20% chance.
I think it's 15.
Map? 15? Yeah. So I mean, that is about the numbers you'd be looking at.
What do you mean? It's a 15% chance for me to win, or for them to
win map?
Yeah.
It's 1 in 6, 1 in 7.
Yeah, it's very low, right? That's pretty low. Like maybe I would have been due in top 4. I don't know. Which would have also been when I would have faced Alex. So, you're right. So that's the numbers, right? Those are bad numbers. So, I think, I answered Scott's question before, and, kind of what I wanted to take the basis of this team was, I wanted to play it. I wanted to see what it was like, right? I had plenty of examples of Joe, and what he was doing, and, I had some examples from the swap. I really wanted to play Blackheart, so I played 2 Blackhearts, Harry Leland, and Defend Green Lantern at 75 points, Emotional Modifier, and the Soul Gem. So a couple of things. Will I ever play that team again? No. No. Negative. It's a big negative. It was a lot of fun. Generating guards was fun. Blackhearts were really fun. I only lost 2 Blackhearts throughout the whole thing, and then I think if they died, they died, right? But otherwise, I think I only took 3 clicks of damage on the Blackhearts the whole time. But I lost Green Lantern, I lost Harry. I was destroying the Hellfire Club. The guards, I was yeeting those things. So it was a very weird play style where, and I think Tylor, you may have liked it in that I had to be aggressive, right? I just had to keep throwing stuff at them, and sometimes it didn't work out so well. Now, I think so that was the big thing. I don't think I'll ever play unthemed again until something major changes. I'm probably going to go back to Bat Doom, unless something in Empire makes a big deal. I think I'll be on that maybe with some tweaks. But the other thing was and Alex mentioned this, he didn't bring in a Trouble Alert or Troublemaker. I would have not made top cut if I did not have double Vulcans, double Brainiacs, double Grods, and a Samurai on my sideline. Those sidelines and having the good pieces is extremely valuable. The meta's expensive, but I cannot say how valuable that sideline was to me. So I played against Jason Allen. We were battling for the cut. We were both 2-2 at that point. So we were battling to get in. I called out Grod. He went back to the sideline. Grod came back out. I had a Brainiac out at one point. I had 2 Vulcans out. Samurai came out. And then 9 Hellfire Club Guards. So the sideline.
How many did you bring?
I brought 16.
Okay.
So
just enough.
Yeah.
Almost up to his Wendigo count.
Yeah.
Right. I have less Hellfire Club Guards than I do Wendigos.
More
So
expensive,
right, obviously. I think when you play a team, you've got to be able to play it fully kitted because there are matchups where those things make a difference. So, you see these swap teams that are full with no Trouble Alerts or Troublemakers, and I just think that they're lacking in that 5 to 10% that they need to have. Because Jason Allen played a Weapon Hex, and it got to the point where his Exodus one-shot my Black Heart. There's nothing I could do about it. He hit the attack. I was done for, right? I had my defend, all the shit in place, right? I had a 22 defense. He hit it. It was good. That's fine. It's what happens. So Blackheart, yeet. So I KO'd Exodus. I KO'd the Iceman. He had the small Lady Britain, the 30-point Lady Britain. I think she's just Captain Britain. Yeah.
Yes.
I KO'd her, and then I had to get through Weapon Hex. So that final turn was Blackheart free charged, crit missed, called out Samurai, poisoned, flurried, knocked her from stop to stop, crit missed again. I couldn't bring out another guy, another Trouble Alert. But then the Vulcan that I'd already had out finished her off. Because I was out of things to do, right? I had Harry and guards. If Black Vulcan wasn't on an 11 attack at that point, I just had 10 attack guards. And then time was called after that. So I think my 2 points there for the day, a theme team is just too powerful. It's just too powerful. The chance at winning map, the interactions, Blackheart or Green Lantern versus Kate. Green Lantern bringing the mitt, Green Lantern bringing the defend, very great. But just having Kate instead, the leaderships work on her. Because I would just be double tapped with Green Lantern too often. So I was less mobile. I couldn't get the reach that I needed. So theme team just too powerful, I think, in general. And then maybe the other option is I'm just not as good as Josapha.
I was gonna say, cause he's got it down. He's
winning a lot of them.
Yeah, I agree. So maybe that's just the realization is I'm just not as good as Josapha at playing unthemed.
There's something there, right? If everybody's on this race to have the best theme and the highest number so they win map every time, you could counter it with finding something that doesn't need to go first, doesn't worry about map, still has synergy. Now, obviously, I've been trying to find this, so it's not that easy. This is just theoretical, but something's got to be out there.
Right, and maybe it's just play what play what Joe Safa plays. Just ask Joe Safa what you think you should play.
It's
Call him up.
just
Just
a
call him up.
prisoner team, so
No, doesn't work.
it does work.
No, it doesn't.
Not how you want, but
Because you still get hit first, so it doesn't help. The only thing it helps with is equipment.
Wait a minute. Joe Safa won the last Cash Bath with Spider-Man family theme.
I know. I like that team. It was similar to what I was.
Wait a minute. So he's not playing theme now. What's the deal?
he's not playing non-theme.
He's allowed.
He plays
to play.
in those tournaments every week and wins them. He's got.
I know Nate. Let's see. Nate won the one before. Joe Safa won with Teen Lantern. He almost had a scientist theme team, kind of halfway, but he played Micron. He played an Alpha team. So
I think you could make a non-alpha work if you had like just a crap ton of barrier that was available. Like there's ways I think you could make it work, but it's not like how it used to be. Like it's not like Pat's national team where it's like I'm gonna stick some really good pieces together and just go non-theme. Like you have to build very specifically non-theme,
right,
to really make it work.
You have to be able to survive a full map alpha,
right?
Because everyone has.
Everybody has.
That's the
right.
big,
Everybody.
that's
Sky
the hard
Tyrant's
thing now.
there, yeah.
Right. Now I will say this. Harry Leland is an absolute menace to society.
Yeah.
I have never felt so powerful as not being able to have pieces placed within 4 squares of me.
Yeah, it is a very strong effect.
It is. I mean, in round, I don't know, 2 or 3, I played against Trent, and he was playing Giganta and Fulcrum, and I was just attacking. I didn't even think about the retail because Harry was right there. I was just attacking away, right? Just boop, 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 boop. And Allan had a play where he could have TK'd his maggot to drop a poison pog and kill my Blackheart. But Harry says, hard to move, hero. Hard to move.
Yeah, I mean, your team isn't that far from a Hellfire team. Like, the concept, I get it. The concept was Green Lantern, the defend, the
right.
mid, all of that stuff. I get all of that.
But it's 200 points Hellfire. Well,
yeah.
That's kind of because I built that team that I was like, man, I love Blackheart, I love Blackheart, I love Harry. It feels like it should be a theme team after that. But then I was like, I'm not gonna win map with a +5, so it was.
Might as well go unthemed then, right?
You'd think, but Dan's saying no. Dan's saying you shouldn't. You should.
No, because there were times that I needed the theme team probs.
That's my biggest thing.
Okay, well, yeah, that's why you have 20 of them or something like that on your team, right?
Yeah.
Right. The theme team probs, and then the mobility for the transporter.
Yeah.
Sure. What about off-theme swap teams? Is there any viability in that where you can bring in some prob if you think you want it?
I've thought about that, like Professor X and Magneto. Tylor might have a different opinion there, but the theme team probs work so well together. Like, the pieces work so well together that I would just have a hard time envisioning a swap team where it just works better than being theme.
That's true. I use everyone.
The idea of theme teams is that you obviously get a benefit for building theme teams, but there's supposed to be a cost-benefits analysis where you're like, I'm sacrificing something to build a theme team, right? I could be using a better piece. That's the idea of the game mechanic. But they've made it so easy to build themes with all of the cheating stuff. Like, Dan's team, or Bat Doom, would be an excellent unthemed team. But that just happens to be a theme team for some reason. So... like, the cost benefit is so weighted to one side, to where it's kind of like it's hard to not go theme right now, just because of how easy it is and how many the best figures fit on Latveria right now, right?
Right.
Or X-Men or Brotherhood.
Sure, but
even Secret Six is really good together, right?
Right,
there's so many options.
There's a lot, and they've been building they've been designing towards that, to where they want people to build theme teams.
And they put a cap on it though, wisely. Because
Mhm.
despite everything we've been saying, like, I could still theoretically win map against Pat if I was non-theme.
Not even
because
it's not even that hard, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you had
whereas,
the same odds whether you were theme or not, and you still did win map against me.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Like, that's why I think they're pushing more towards this openness for theme teams, because they did put that cap. Because remember, it was ridiculous before, where it was like, you gotta have a 9 or something, because you're just gonna guarantee map. If you're
Those
like
Avengers were like
+9.
+12, +13, the Hawkeye Giant Girl stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
It was ridiculous. It's like, if you don't have a +7, why are you even trying? And now it's like, okay, well, you shouldn't count on map if you're a +3, but there's so many benefits to theme team that you might as well go for it, because you still got a chance, a 15% chance, as we said, or whatever. So
the
sure.
probs are almost bigger now than going first for it.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, having a Latveria peasant theme team prob is fun.
Having an Eni theme team prob is very nice.
Yeah, probbing yourself. You know, you send the guy alone in an alpha, and he can do it himself.
Yes.
And, you can actions on there. It's great.
That's 100%. I think that is almost the best part of the new theme team probs. Having Giganta run over there and just being able to be like, "Oops, I missed." Yeah, like
the Sky Tyrant.
Yeah, like, that's by far probably the best part, is you could theme team yourself and don't have to do an action token, don't have to do any of that stuff. Now, while we're on the topic of maps, it is one thing I wanted to mention, and I want any future event to do this. But you would have to keep it off to the side, unfortunately. But it is a statistic that I think everyone wants.
Oh boy.
When we get the points and who won, mark who won map.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I want to know that. Like, watching all these games, I want to know, oh, Alex beat Pat? Cool. Who won map? Oh, Alex won map? That probably makes sense why he won then. You know, like,
what do you think, just like blanket across all games, if you win map, what do you think the odds are of winning the game? How high is it?
Right now?
So I lost map every time, and I went 3-2.
Well, so like, that's skewed because you're a great player. So, you know, I just want the general.
Whoa! I'm already married, Tyler.
So I just want, well, like, yeah, like you're gonna win more often. So I don't want that. I want just like the general. If you win map, because I don't know what my initial guess would probably be 60 to 65%.
I was gonna say 60.
About 70 when you're looking at these alphas versus alphas, where what you want to do is get in there first and get them. I mean, it depends on the build, right? So it's hard to make a kind of a general blanket statement on this. But I would say in the monster animal matchup, wouldn't you say winner has 70% chance, if not higher?
Plus, yeah, plus.
I think, Tyler, to get the metric you're looking for, you almost have to separate, and you have to say this metric for average players, this metric for a high top tier players, because a top tier player winning map is a much higher percentage that he's going to win. An average player who maybe didn't put as much time in it, like put a lot of time in the team, but didn't think matchups as much, and they're like, oh, I won map, I know I'm going to do this, I take it to this map, but maybe that map isn't great against that team, but you still won map. You know, I think the percentage is much higher for top tier players, if that makes sense, to where it is in the 70s.
You're talking world top 16 or something like that, though, right?
Yeah.
But that should be offset by the less than average players who lose map and then lose more often, right? It should average out to get an average, right?
I'm just thinking, like, if you want a more realistic number, like 60% isn't accurate when you get the top 16, top 8. I don't think that's accurate. I think it is more 70, 75.
Oh, you're saying the better the player is, the wider the margin gets, to where winning map is more important.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
Absolutely.
That's fair, right?
Yeah, because the player has the matchup in their head, and they're like, I know if I win map, I'm taking you to here, and I have a good chance of winning. Like, good. And this is a peek behind the curtain. Goodness, all the times we talk about teams, we throw out percentages, and we're like, okay, in this matchup, if I win maps against Wales, I win 75% of the time. Like those were discussions we used to have because we game plan and mentally prepared for that matchup. So that's why I'm saying for the average player, which no offense to the average player, but someone who maybe doesn't only listens to our podcast and maybe doesn't know every matchup.
Alex, drop a name. Who are you talking about?
Oh,
casuals.
No. Yeah, all those casuals.
Those casuals.
Hey, no.
Hey,
we respect casuals.
we do. We actually do.
Just playing.
And as far as percentages go, the only time I'm 100% win ratio, winning map versus Wales and winning. It only happened one time.
Oh, okay.
It was also the last event we ever played with ID cards, Tylor.
I don't remember.
Because everybody quickly went to, we're going to go straight to retirement.
Yeah, we skipped that. We fast forwarded.
Wales needed to win map more than the current. Like, I don't know if they would survive in the current meta because they really needed to be like a +5 against somebody because they had to win map. That's my old team type is kind of phasing out where it's like the Whales or even what I played earlier this year before the rules changed with like the Dark Phoenixes where I would just move halfway up with my team and then wait. It's almost too aggressive to do that because I would just die, it feels like.
Those Whales that are getting killed by a tyrant like that right now, right?
Sky Tyrants, Wendigos are attacking them 18,000 times. Gladiators just melting something. Yeah, I don't know.
Brave New World.
Oh man, I've often think about our old barometers, right? Can it take the uni shot or can it beat a whale? And like, man, the perplex to damage thing and the change to invincible made that a big deal because now your whale can be taken from top to stop without a stop in the middle.
True. Yeah. They don't need to outwit it first.
Yeah, one tyrant's getting it.
Yeah. At least a whale, maybe more. Yeah, and that was like the beginning of this year. I won. That was what I played in Chicago, right?
Yeah, the Chicago event.
Yeah, the Chicago event was. I mean, I think that whole archetype, right, was just move up halfway across the map or more and wait, and that has faded away some.
That and
Flash, Sky Tyrant.
They just run past you.
Wonder Woman ruined everything.
That archetype relied so much more on winning map because the confidence to move up halfway is me knowing that you cannot kill my first turn unit retails, and they're coming and you can't do anything about it. Now if I lose map, Flash is just running right past me and killing my retails, and then I'm stuck between two different sides, with no retails coming. So
right, and there's the change to plasticity too, like to where you could just fly right past the carnages, as an example.
Yeah.
Talk about a piece that was hyped up, super cool, like gonna change the meta, and now he's pointless. Bishop. Like saying you can't shoot me now. It's like, okay, well, all these teams run up and punch you in the face. So
he was a very narrow time. House of X released January of 21, right? And then mid-April 21 is when Wonder Woman came out, and Sky Tyrant and Flash was on the scene.
Was he on my Chicago?
He
was.
I
don't think so. I think I added him after that.
He was on mine.
He was definitely. I think he was on because you and you had the second Doom. Alex, I think
I had two Dooms and Bishop and a Dark Phoenix.
Wait, was Doom? What am I thinking? Oh, I'm thinking of the team I ran at Worlds last year. That was like it was Cosmic. It didn't have. It was before Dooms.
Yeah, it was before Dooms. You played Cosmic with the lady Marvel and Franklin Richards.
Mm-hmm. That was a fun team.
Yeah, I remember because I made top cut at the.
You lost to Tylor.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Tylor.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I remember that because was that the one where I beat PJ?
You did,
right? Was that in that event or was that a different event? No, that was that event.
You did, because he was trying to play. He was trying to play mission points.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I beat Nate. I beat him and Nate in Top Cut, and then I got the Tylor, and I was like,
man.
Yeah, and then I was like, all right, Tylor.
Yeah.
Your team's stupid. You run up in the middle.
Wait.
Yeah, you just sit there and. But yeah, just to reiterate, if you're running an event, please start noting who wins map. I think that's a metric everyone would have loved to see. I wish WizKids would update the win. Not that that would ever happen, but to just have in there a little mark who won map, because who wouldn't love that info?
Wait, I didn't run Bishop in that game. I was Captain Marvel, Doom, Valeria, and 3 Dark Phoenixes.
Yep.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, that's right. That was Doom's coming out party, right?
Yeah.
It was everywhere. Yeah.
I played Bishop. I won a Brad. Brad had a bigger event earlier in the year. I won that with Bishop. It was almost the same.
Oh yeah, you won the cash bash. You actually won You actually won the money.
He wins a lot of these. He can't keep them all straight. Right now.
That's why he has us as teammates, because we remember all of his victories.
That's right. Yeah.
I can't be bothered to remember.
Yeah, like some sort of like some sort of Viking ceremony. We remember all of Tylor's wins for him.
They have to chant them in song.
So, Pat, is there anything else about your day that you want to bring up or share with the community?
I want to tip my cap to Sam Powell for crushing me round 5.
Oh, that looked like a good game. That looked real close.
I mean, I guess it was a good game depending on what side of the table you sat. But no, I think it was my first time playing Sam. She's now on the top of my list, and I owe her one.
Oh God, there's a list.
Yeah, Brad Broyles is on there. These are unavenged losses. Those are my last 2 unavenged losses, and I will never forget either of them until they're avenged.
Yeah, Sam.
So was I on the list until you beat me this?
Yeah, you were.
Oh, okay. Whew, it feels good to be off the list.
Dan Powell's on that list as well. So,
okay.
We'll see.
I was. I should have killed your Joker's gas canister.
He shows up with a list at every event. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listeners at home, you could be on this list.
Just beat him.
Exactly. Yeah, Sam says she does enjoy her token thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, when you beat me, you get a token off it. I owe Cruzz one. We forgot to give him one.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Neat.
Yeah.
Well, did he have to give it back at the finals? Is it that kind of token?
No, you just keep it forever so you can... Yeah. I like to remember... I got that like Michael Jordan thing where I only remember my losses and I dwell on them every night.
Yeah. It's how I go to sleep.
I hate. Absolutely.
I definitely learn more from a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just say every name on the list before. That's how I go to sleep.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All I have to say is anytime I play Sam, which I did this past week, this round 3, I think, or something, it's always so stressful because I just feel so bad either way. Like we're just so stressed out because we're friends and whatnot, and it's just like we want to win, but it's so rough.
So I agree with you there, and just in general, the Clixed Off people, but it was nice. We had 4 people make top 8, and none of us had to play each other in the top 8.
Yeah, you guys all slack.
That's the way you want. That's the way you want to do it.
Except me.
Yeah, except Alex. Yeah, but it was nice because we didn't have to knock anybody I mean, Dan kind of did in the last round of Swiss.
I had to knock Jason Allen out. But
that sounded like a close game too. So
I mean, it was. Again, if I hadn't had the Vulcans, the Samurais, the Garage, the Brainiacs, and a whole bucket full of guards.
How many extra figures did you bring in? Like 14?
9, 3,
2,
and 3. So 15.
He brought 15 figures from outside of the game. Jesus.
And I would have lost if I didn't know. So it was like one of those things. So now, for what it's worth, I think you can recycle the guards from your KO zone.
I don't think you're allowed, are you?
I don't know.
Yeah, if you're bringing in something from outside the game, you can pull them from your KO zone.
Right. So theoretically, maybe I only needed 5 guards.
You don't need... Yeah.
16.
Right. But
you never know.
But from being very accurate and being able to quickly tell my points, I'm able to look at my KO zone, go boop 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 boop. Can I KO this guard?
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. So, guards aren't that expensive, right? But the Vulcans and the Samurais and the Grods and the Brainiacs are. Anyways, that's my rant, and it's a little bit of a rant at PJ with his cheap teams. I'll go ahead and just be very clear at who I'm ranting at, and I'm ranting at PJ and with his.
Screw you, PJ.
No, I did not say that. You did. With his cheap meta teams, oftentimes they lack the fact that those trouble alerts and troublemakers are just, to me, absolutely essential. So. We do have some.
Can you imagine my team at full power if I actually used them?
Right.
I only had 5 sideline figures, I think. That's all I had.
Right.
Oh, I had a full sideline.
Yeah, I'm not saying
Yeah,
that
I
you
saw you
have. I'm not saying you have to use them. But those times that you need to use them, they're indispensable. So.
Oh yeah, they can definitely.
Yeah.
Often win you a game.
But you want multiples of the good ones, right? I think you want,
Right.
3 Vulcans, 2
Yeah.
Grods, 2 Brainiacs, figure out what else works the rest.
Right. That's about
Right, like so in
those
this,
are the-
in my example, Sam was playing 2 Vulcans. I had 2 Vulcans. Samurai does have poison; it's just not penetrating. So I figure
can come into play too, though. You want a little variety, right?
Yeah, well, I
You
would
need a TK or something.
I would have
TK's
told
good too.
I would have totally been fine with just a 3rd Vulcan.
Sure.
But just to be honest, I mean, you could argue it either way, but I figure if shit got that bad, that I guess I'm just gonna have to use Samurai, and guess what? I did.
Have not hit.
I did need to use Samurai. So we've got a few questions to go through. Unless Pat, anything else that you wanted to share with the community about your team?
Great tournament. Love being back in person. You guys crushed it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, this
Thank
was legitimately one of the funnest in-person tournaments I've ever been to. It was just a really good time all around.
Yeah. I think you're right, Alex. I'm glad you brought up the food. The food really did make the day go fast.
Yeah, it's next too.
Yeah, just going straight to end of Swiss to cut. Like, I know some people like the mental break. I know, needing a smoke break or something like that. I get it, and we kind of had enough time for that.
Right.
But sometimes I think of it like sports. Like a lot of teams don't like overtime or like having a delay or something because they get cold and they want to be able to stay warm,
Right.
stay hot. Like if they're going into postseason or something, they like staying hot. And so that's how I feel sometimes when I'm playing, taking a mental break, and then I sit down and I'm like, oh, that's right, I gotta get back into it because I just took an hour and a half to decompress. I liked that, and I wasn't scrambling to figure it out, and it also let people just leave. I mean, they do anyway, but it was just nice being able to just immediately go into cut and being able to go
Right.
at it, because for someone who travels immediately after, I mean, I got home at 12:30 Eastern, and that's me gaining an hour.
Right.
Not gaining, losing an hour.
Lose an hour, yeah.
And it's a 4-hour trip for me, 4.5.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have made it home. I'd have to stop somewhere if it had gone another hour to 2.
Yeah.
And also, getting into when you're playing in the 9th game, your brain's just mush anyway, right? Like, get it going. You guys playing them all the time. Maybe you're better at it than I am, but when you get to game 9, it's hard, man.
Yeah.
This is a random question. Does anybody else the night after a big tournament, when you're trying to go to sleep, you just see the map of a Heroclix and you're just thinking of I'll sit here and I'm doing my normal going to sleep and start dreaming, and suddenly I see barrier. I saw for real the barrier markers that I had put out for Molecule Man,
100%.
and I'm like, why am I thinking about Heroclix? I'm trying to sleep, and it's because your brain's just thinking about it for 8 to 9 hours. It's the same with if you do Dance Dance Revolution for a while and you just keep seeing the stupid steps. Yeah, you keep seeing the arrows. It's or Rock Band back in the day.
I
Yeah.
do if I don't win. If I win, it's so much better because you don't got to think about what could I have done differently. It's just you just get to sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's
if you
accurate.
lose, it's you thinking about it.
Right.
You got to read the list, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
you
it's
gotta go through your list.
you do.
Patrick.
Um,
That's our notes right now. There's one because I lost you twice.
Very satisfying. I keep the hate in your heart. Trust me.
It
Funny
warms you.
Funny enough, I go through that a lot in my tournaments. I didn't feel that way this time. Like, I like losing to Pat. Like, I was just like, I knew if I lost map, it was going to be incredibly difficult. I knew, like, I knew it was going to be.
If you win map, right? Like we saw what happens when you do win map.
Yeah, and even then, I knew it was going to be hard because you weren't going to set up like you had before. So I knew I was going to have to really get creative. So when I lost, I was sort of thinking of what I could do differently, but I also was just kind of satisfied with how it rolled. And I was like, it could have gone a little bit different, but I could, like you said, I could have done Flash instead of Emperor. But I just felt good about Emperor the whole day. I don't know what it is about. Maybe it's his confidence. Like his confidence just brushes up. Like I get a confidence token, I get one for myself.
You just feel
also.
real good. Yeah.
Yeah, I get a
like
confidence
that.
token for myself every time he hits.
I like
So.
it.
Yeah, it's true. All right, let's move into a few questions here. Paul Cote, we did talk about how many times we won and lost map. We
Wait,
did.
Alex, how many times did he? I don't think he said.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I won. Oh man, I won against Sam. I won against Pat. I lost against Jason. I won. I want to say I won my first one. I won in top 8. I won my top 8 match. I lost my top 4 match, and then I lost against Pat. So I'd say about 50% of the time.
So it sounds like 1-4 lost 5, right? Somewhere right?
There's only
Yeah,
8 rounds, right? 5.
yeah,
Okay,
I
right.
played eight matches.
Oh yeah,
so
8. That's right, 8.
So it was about 50%. 50%, and I was a +6.
Okay.
So
That's better than me.
yeah, well, going against people with better theme than me, I won against Sam, which she had a +1 on me. I won against Pat once, lost once, and he had +3 on me. I don't know if anybody else had a much higher theme than me. Maybe one
I
other
think
person.
Jason was like a 7, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But he won map against me, so.
Oh, okay.
Right. All right, Paul Cote, we did talk about a little bit what figures were most underplayed. I think it was pretty much the Hellfire pieces, right? I think that's what we expected to see more of.
Multiple man. I think he wants to hear multiple man is the answer.
Yeah, Paul, the answer is multiple man.
There
yes.
were 0 multiple men. In
No,
our
I
event.
think there was one. With one of them, I believe Preston had.
That's not multiple men. That's singular man.
Well, there was one on the side in case he got hit for one or whatever. He had the option to bring multiple men in, but he did start with just the man.
That's true.
This week, maybe tomorrow. Not going to put a date on it. I will try to get all these build sheets data mined and put something out there to show.
It doesn't matter because the podcast is definitely not coming out on Sunday, so nobody
That's
will know.
true.
Nobody will know what tomorrow is until I
That's
release
true.
the podcast.
Yeah.
McConnell Lamar wants to know what will it take for Tylor to play his Juggernaut in a major event.
I looked. I tried. Okay. I've been looking at it because he's so good against Blackheart. He's so good against Blackheart.
That was Karima.
So is Karima. But it's just it doesn't. There's not support that work. I don't think Mystical is good enough because there's just something missing from all of his keywords. But I'm trying.
Well, what if you used him as a placeholder to swap in Emperor Gladiator?
Yeah, you could do
100, there you go. That's
So
what it would take, man.
So Pat, you probably you're probably not aware of this, Pat. So I'll explain what it means for Tylor to play Juggernaut.
Okay.
So the way you become the world's greatest Juggernaut player is you have to place well with him at 175, no swappy.
Wait, why is that the rule?
Nobody's doing that.
Right, because that's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well,
so
one person has done that.
One person has done that. So you can swap in Emperor Vulcan if you would like, I suppose, Tylor, at 175.
Also, a stat that was shared with me by my team after this event is that Juggernaut placed higher than me. So
that is true. Albeit on a swap.
Yeah, but I think they brought him in. Oh, well, they said they brought him in a lot.
I played against Preston with him having Juggernaut on the map.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So they do bring it in. Juggernaut did place higher than you did, so that should tell you what you need to know.
Yep.
Hey,
So
can we
Juggernaut.
say you just mentioned it, Pat. Underrated figure of the game or the tournament. I was not expecting Karima
Oh,
to
she's
be
fantastic, right?
to be as good as she was.
Yeah,
I mean,
neither me neither, because she one-shotted my Green Lantern both times.
I don't get it.
She goes through stop clicks, and
For everything in the stop clicks. Everybody's got to stop nowadays.
she has X-Men, so you could boop her out if you don't want to on the Switch team.
I guess.
Yeah, they were
It's-
booping her in.
and targeting elevated, hindering, and characters. So
That's pretty good.
Malcolm played played her, and so took me to the black, the
Great
the
Mound.
one.
Great man.
Great mound, yeah.
Awesome map for her.
Yeah. I ultimately won against him twice, but not because of her, is because I just obliterated Exodus twice.
He also
But-
gets the peak of power when she hits too. So
An attack
Yeah.
power,
he's
yeah.
hitting hard. Yeah, attack power.
Yeah, she's pretty good. I mean, just looking at her blanket, you're like, okay, well, it looks like she just dies, right?
Uh-huh.
Like just 6 kills her.
5.
Yeah, but so here's the thing: she has traded energy shield, so she's a 20 from range.
Yeah. Which,
Um,
to be fair, Emperor Gladiator doesn't care about that, but he's
A little
the-
bit.
I mean,
I mean,
he
still
cares
right?
he cares 30% more than a 18.
I guess that's true. Yeah. But I'm gonna look at her now to see about like a robot master mold thing. I mean, I think she's better with Krakoan Revival, which robot won't have, but I don't know. I mean, I looked at her before giving the Danger Room figure Sentinel just to make master mold click around more, but I'm gonna give her another look just because I was surprised.
Yeah.
I remain a non-believer, but I'm happy to be proven wrong.
It's a piece I was playing around with before. I think it's a great piece that's better right now.
Yeah, X-Men swap makes her worth it. William K. Holland, can you break down the top teams? We did. So the other thing, we did some videos on this, William. How do you do the X-Men swap mechanic so you aren't losing or giving away points? So you're not going to give any away, but pieces may be worth more than they are printed on their base, and I don't think there's any way around that.
Excuse me, there is. Double swap.
Yeah, double
Double
swap.
swap,
That's
right.
a good point.
Yeah, and
But
they could theoretically have less points on the map. Like
Right,
the
but you're gonna
figures could be
score 'em.
worth. Right, so like they could switch from a 300-point team to like a 270, because you're switching in like a cable that gets the plus 25, but that doesn't carry over. I don't believe. Like
well,
there's a
it
couple instances
it doesn't carry over for purposes of swap value, but you do get those points. We do believe,
Oh,
right?
no, you have to. You have
Table
to
one,
wipe.
right?
You have to
Yeah.
wipe.
Yeah, if
So
you kill the cables, you get nothing.
so no, if you kill the character that Cable swapped in for, you get the 25 points.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
And
Not sure. I have no idea.
at least that's how Chad ruled it.
That's the event.
Set the event. So right or wrong, that's how we did it. Don't use us as a frame of reference. Ask the win.
There's a lot of complicated stuff there.
Right.
Yeah,
So
the other thing that was very complicated that was ruled on, and I think it was ruled right, was the swap in. They're only worth that for scoring purposes when you replace. So
correct.
for Krakoan Revival, you're fine.
Yeah, that's why it was in Huntsville
Yeah.
as well. So, Jason Labandera.
One last thing. You can use the back of I use the back of my build sheet, because if you're playing against one of these teams, don't rely on them to tell you. Sit down and just write it out yourself. Who is switching for who, and that is worth how many points.
Who is switching for whom?
Sure.
Got him.
All right. Well, bye everybody. Have a good night. No. But just go
Yeah,
ahead
that's
and write
great
it down.
advice.
I use the back of it so that way I can write down this is switching for this. So Karima is worth 95 points in most switches, because she switches for I forget who. So just something to keep in mind. Write it down so it doesn't burn you later when you kill the wrong person and realize he's worth. You could have scored 20 more points by killing the one next to them or something. Like a
Right.
multiple man might actually be worth 30 points as opposed to 10. And you just didn't realize. So.
All right, Jason Labendera asks, "I've seen a double null team with Mr. Oz to fill the points. What do you think that's the best option? Double null, Mr. Oz, and then the last 10 points is the token map bonus and WWE arena ring."
I looked at this. I think I played it before. I played this in an online tournament. I was running Dario Agger, who's pretty good, but I just built it real quick, and I think Commissioner and double Moloid is probably the way to go, because Moloid's really good. The whole team has stealth. He can mastermind to everybody on that team. The Commissioner can. You get the rookie, who also has stealth, so the whole team is still in stealth permanently. You can carry. Yeah, you can carry the Moloids, or you can carry the nulls with the Moloids with their side steps. I think that's pretty. And yeah, that is underrated. I know how the bat thinks. That map bonus should be played a lot more. It is so good right now.
Now, I think the other thing is that it's you with your monster version, you do lose the TK.
You do. Is that super important?
It lets them alpha the map.
No way they can alpha the map.
Yeah, so they get TK'd from Oz 8, and then they smoke cloud as free, and then they place in 4, and then they charge for 5.
So 8, 12, 17. That's not the map.
It is on the right map, right?
No,
Or if you
so
go on
so
the-
they're out 2. They get TK'd 8. That's 12. They go to 16 because of the 4, and then they charge 5. That's 21. They have giant reach from the Necro Sword, which puts them
Oh, I forgot they had giant reach.
right.
That's true. That's fair. I don't think it's necessary.
But with
Like
all
my
the
version
emotional
better.
modifiers out there right now, is double null really even that
Right.
viable?
That's the question.
No, the answer I think is no, pretty much. Jason Labender also asked, any changes to the Bat Doom team? So I was talking to Sam about that this afternoon. We were going the way home from groceries. I don't think that's kind of something I've ever talked about too much on the podcast. Is Sam and I talk about Heroclix a lot, and we're in the same house. So that happens a lot.
That probably helps a lot.
Yeah, because we're married, like kind of talk to your spouse.
You guys are married?
Yeah, who would have guessed? I would say we're married with Clix, but that's already taken. So, so I think Sam had a different opinion on the alchemical fire than I did. She said she never used it; it was never relevant for her.
Wow.
And she thinks maybe alchemical fire comes out for the reality gem.
Who you putting that on?
Kind of the same thing you were doing, right? Either put it on, in this particular case, either put it on Batman or put it on the Doom. So like Sorcerer Supreme gets a 3rd bolt. Doom 67 can get the double TK. The backup TK was probably the biggest thing she was thinking. Because once Flash goes, you lose your TK. So the double TK option between Flash and maybe having it on Batman. And then, double close attacks with Doom 67. Kind of the same way Pat was doing with the power gem, right?
Yeah, except his is better, because if you hit somebody for 0, they still take the -1 to defense.
That is correct. Not really better, but similar.
You get an added effect.
Right, an added effect. I mean, Pat was just nuking things with Sky Tyrant, which is, cool.
there a way for you to get Nathaniel Richards on that team anyway? I mean, being able to give
there
psychic blast is fantastic, right?
There is, but you have to lose Molecule Man for the most of it because you have to have Waller to get Batman on there.
What about losing just one Flash?
Oh, that's your only TK.
That's the only TK.
Not when you have Nathaniel Richards.
That's true.
That's true, but you don't get the reach because you don't have
yeah.
You don't have the double TK, nor do you have the ability to double equip.
In that scenario, you'd be losing the alchemical fire. Is what I was trying to make work.
Right. So, but you still want the double equip.
Well, I think you would want two. If you're using Daniel Richards, I think you want two options to be able to burn at least 2 psychic blasts or a psychic blast and a TK. So I think if you were using 2 objects, Nathaniel Richards isn't the option.
Yeah, I think that's something to look at. I think that could be cool. I'm not sure if it works out point wise, but
now, Dan, let me ask you something about a strategy change. Have you guys talked about Sky Tyrant bringing anybody along?
So we do that. We do that often, right? Not on his because you can't do it on just the full alpha.
If you burn an action, you could, but I don't know if you have that action.
Nobody else on the team has 8 movement.
That's so weird.
If they do,
you could. So let me take that back. Molecule Man does. But Molly typically needs to stay back. Flash, I guess, could, but
he's gonna come back if you hit twice, right? He'll come back.
Yeah.
I'm only saying that because of my match with Sam. I mean, that's the only reason, because she came up and missed both attacks and missed with the prob. So it's like one more prob she probably would have hit, and then she wouldn't have been stuck there.
Right.
Another thing you can do with it is block their props too, right? With body blocking.
Yeah, and I've done that, before. I did that against J Major. Sam did hit with her Waldo arms though, which I don't think mattered. Alex. So, but I've definitely pinched before with carrying somebody.
Are now hearing about Pat's success, are you still a believer in the Waldo arms over the Power Gym?
Well, no. So in my particular case, I've played Power Gym before.
Yeah.
So, I'm okay with it because in my team I need the reach because I don't have the double TK. But working in the reality gym, over the alchemical fire, maybe I'll consider it again. But I mean, Waldo arms +1 attack, right? I mean, because Pat also has the perplexes, so he has an extra perplex, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to be 14-6 with the empower. That's the goal,
right? To whereas the Waldo arms allows you to just quake like 6 things or more.
God, yeah. When me and Sam practiced, I think it was like the Wednesday before the tournament. And oh god, her Sky Tyrant with the arms just destroyed my whole team because it was all low click stuff, and like the first quake killed like 3 things that were next to him, and then that cleared the lines for the other things that were behind that. So she killed like 3 more things, and she got like 6 res tokens and ran away, and I was left with like nothing. And like the Waldo arms are very scary. The giant reach is very scary with the quake in certain situations.
Yeah. Now the original version of the team did have the Necro sword on it, and I think that has merit as well. Because giant
doesn't have
what?
I was gonna say it doesn't have merit until shape change starts coming back, right?
Well, it does because when I originally built the team, Tylor's animals have super senses, so
that's true. That's true.
So quake super senses. Yeah,
that scares me. I don't like that.
Right.
A lot of super senses out there. The flashes and all those other guys. Super senses is out there. It is the only defense.
Right. So, I mean, it kind of is what it is. It is something to consider. But I think I think either way, right? Pat and I, and the other folks that have done well with Sky Tyrant, are making him a nuclear missile.
Yeah.
right?
You're vulturing him.
Yeah, it's the new harder hitting vulture, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and Pat, I don't know. I know you may not listen as very often, and PJ said this. It's kind of a low skill move for us to go TK, charge, hit you,
Run away.
But damn, is it effective?
Effective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, it's effective. It's effective AF, right? So,
Yeah.
it's totally fine.
Yeah, a hammer is not very complicated, but it gets the job
Yeah.
done.
I mean,
right.
you could easily say the same for Emperor Gladiator. It's literally TK. I shoot you for a big number. I sit here, take hit.
Yeah, people who are angry call those point and click pieces. But this is a little
To be
bit
fair,
more that goes
you
into
have to
the
make
teams.
you have to make a lot of decisions
Right.
defensively with Emperor Gladiator.
That's true.
It's like, do I
And
take the hit? Do I mastermind? Do I lose the confidence token? Do I try
Hey.
the roll?
And you know what? And with Sky Tyrant, you have to be able to read.
That's true.
Because
That is fair.
you want to be able to
Barrier entry there.
read that keyword line and be able to understand if any of your team, any of those keywords match up with Sky Tyrant's keywords. It's important.
Actually, I don't even read. I just ask him, hey, does this guy have any of these?
Yeah, that's accurate.
TK.
Yeah, because you said, I don't think anybody chooses a keyword when you were attacking me. I'm like, well, no, the Spider Hammer I know does share a keyword.
The first time. So, yeah. I would like to say I am 2-1 versus the animal team. This might be appropriate time to bring that up.
It's always an appropriate time.
Right. Pat is
That's
now
okay.
Pat is now
like
2-0.
months.
Against the animal team.
So,
I did not play Watu. There was one Watu at our event. I did not play him.
oh
I
man.
Did you win?
Yes.
Oh yeah, of course you won. You only lost one game.
Yep.
Jesus or Jesus, one of the two, Garcia. Sorry if I don't know which version of the pronunciation you are there, sir. But Bat Doom, the strategy for Bat Doom is on clixedoff.com. I wrote a whole article about that, so please check that out. And then I've talked about using 2 black hearts today.
Do you think 2 black hearts is good?
Man, they are. Yes. Yeah, short answer.
It is.
Short answer, yes. Yes.
Well, I was running it for a while. I was practicing with a lot, and it kind of killed my drive when I realized they couldn't sack 2 guards a turn. I was like, man.
Well, so
that's so sad.
here's the problem, right? Is that Kate can only carry 3.
Right.
And
Fire team specific.
that's right. So you can't carry the guard up with you. So
If you
like,
want Harry.
but you generally always want Harry.
I agree.
So the thing is that the GL carry, I was able to Reign of Terror, roll my first one, see if I get a guard, and then make the second one succeed. So I'm bringing Harry and a guard, positioning Blackheart Harry around the guard, and that's fine, right? So if Kate had Passenger 4, I'd be a lot happier about that whole theme there.
Yeah,
So.
that makes sense.
I tried Emperor Gladiator with Blackheart. That's just a bad combo.
For Gladiator with black heart.
And Scarab, remember I was going Ruler?
Yeah. I don't know if it's bad. It's just maybe
The problem
not.
is it's just really risky because of like Blackheart just deals penetrating damage. So generally,
Right, you were trying to alpha with it, right? Blackheart is a very good protective bubble.
and Blackheart ruins that.
Right. So the big thing is Blackheart. Now the synergy. I'll leave this last synergy bit, and we need to wrap up because it's 2.5 hours or 2 hours now. Blackheart changing the guard to click number 9. Super OP.
Yes, it is incredibly, incredibly good.
Right, because it's not just one of them; it's all of them. And
Yeah, that's... Go ahead.
So if you generate the guard, you power action with Blackheart to change it to click number 9. It then has flight. You then charge Flurry for 5, carrying Blackheart. Do your charge Flurry Blades exploit. Sack the guard, charge or running shot from there with penetrating damage. Sometimes that charge has energy explosion, or sometimes that running shot has energy explosion. Sometimes that charge has flurry blades.
Yeah.
So incredible.
I practiced a team that I think it's actually pretty okay. It was the five Dark Phoenixes, 3 Hellfire Guards, and a Blackheart. I think that's a pretty good team because all of them can mastermind to everybody. And then if they don't kill your guards when you move them up, that's 3 charged flurry blades and Clix. So, pretty good.
I'm maybe worth revisiting that.
Yeah, it's a +9 Hellfire team. It's pretty cool.
Maybe worth revisiting that. Gotta have Harry though.
Yeah, it's rough without Harry.
Just gotta have Harry.
The points didn't work out real weird. They worked out weird to where it was like 5 points over if I wanted to bring him in. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah.
Maybe sneak some swap mechanics in there, right?
Maybe. Yeah, because I think there was a version with that, with the Magneto.
So, all right. Well, let's wrap it up with final thoughts today. Alex, final thoughts?
Daddy Daddy is everything that I wanted with Sexy Lexi, and that I didn't get.
Oh, that's an excellent point.
I like
it. He was a power cosmic mastermind piece that does a ton of damage with Pensai, and this one is 150 points cheaper and makes his own mastermind pieces. So, Gladdy Daddy is Sexy Lexi 2.0.
I like that.
I like it. Pat?
Just want to remind Sam she's on my list.
Okay. We'll make sure she knows.
You think Sam listens to the show?
She does actually.
I know.
So Tyler.
I just like the meta right now is super diverse. You can build pretty much anything you want. A lot of good keywords.
As long as it reaches across the whole map.
Yes, I was about to say, as long as it's Alpha Strike.
As long as it has full map regen barrier. But everything does. So it's fine. With everything is broken, nothing is, right?
Famous words. I'm gonna type that. I'm gonna type that in now.
Oh, my final thoughts. Did I say Pat? You made me laugh so hard there. Okay, sorry. You made me laugh so hard there, Tyler, that I forgot if I'd asked Pat. My final thoughts is I would like to congratulate Sam on a top 8 for her first tournament back. Well, second tournament back in over 2 years, pretty much, since the birth of our son. She did a ton of study and a ton of research and practice, and it really showed off for her. So I know she's my wife, and I'm really proud of her all the time, but I am exceptionally proud of her today for doing so well yesterday. And she made the list. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Clixed Off today. We'll talk to y'all next time.
See ya.
Later.